basically, the federation emails us to ask us about our availability for the upcoming windows, and I responded particularly about my health concerns because my injury status, and I responded about, in that same email, I talked about my workload and compensation, right? So it was all in one email. So I sent that email, and I think I saw them a day or two after, and they asked me to come for a meeting. So I went for a meeting. In the meeting, we discussed the same things roughly in that email, about roughly a 5 to 10 minute meeting. And I never heard back from them from that meeting. I believe this was a Tuesday. Camp started on, I believe, Friday. The coaches on our behalf and the management let the federation know that we would appear on Saturday for the first practice. Barring our injuries and limitations, we weren't able to practice, but we did show up on Saturday, and that was the same day we had got suspended. So it kind of came as a huge surprise. But from that day, we thought it could just be a misunderstanding. So from that day, we kept participating in these practices, showing up, supporting the team, and I think up until Tuesday. On Tuesday, we realized that they no longer wanted us to even participate and join these practices, because as I was driving to BK Arena on Tuesday, I wasn't able to get in. They made a list and I wasn't able to get in and participate in these practices and to cheer on my brothers, and it just all came as a surprise. And I believe that there was a miscommunication, a misunderstanding between the federation and the players. In this case, our injuries didn't say that we could not participate. In that first email I wrote, I actually stated that I could participate and was able to participate. But there were some issues I wanted to talk about, some things I wanted to, be clear about. So in this situation, our injuries were not limiting us from playing with the national team, right? It was just a discussion that was wanted to be had, before the window. I think what this is a huge misunderstanding. I think they made a decision based on what they thought our intent was. Maybe they felt like these injuries were fraudulent. I've been working with my medical staff and from even the Tigers from the BAL for a long time, trying to manage this injury and get it under control. It's a back injury, sciatica. It's not easy to deal with, and when you repeatedly put your body under stress, it gets worse and worse. And so I was letting that be known to the federation before we got to the competition, right? Just trying to handle things professionally, and so it wasn't a surprise. Rightly so. It is a confusing situation, but I'm not here to tell you to take my side or their side. I'm just here to present the facts of the situation, and this is the truth. This is the facts of the situation. I emailed them before the window started, responding to their email to join the camp. In that email, I stated my injury concerns and other things, and it was communicated that we were going to join the camp on Saturday, which we did. And to our surprise, we were suspended the same day, and tried to, work out these situations behind closed doors, which failed to whatever reason. I don't know, but we didn't get the communication that we were looking for. So I think it's a big misunderstanding for sure. Right before AfroBasket, I tore my meniscus in the RBL playoffs. So I wasn't able to participate in AfroBasket and was still recovering from the November window. I'm not here to speculate on why we're suspended, you know what I mean? But I don't know. It's been affecting us, like it's obviously right now it's a mental thing because we haven't played yet. We've been just practicing. So just knowing that we're sanctioned and, it does affect us, this is our livelihood, right? So it does affect us mentally for now, are taking it day by day to try to resolve this as quickly and as respectfully as we can. And hopefully we can get some progress. My next move, it's hard to say, man. I'm just taking it day by day. Just trying to stay ready for whatever happens. Trying to stay prepared, to play when the time comes, or just trying to handle this situation first is my priority, because I can't say what's going to happen next, but just trying to handle this. I don't believe we're going to stand for it. We're going to try to fight it and give our side and make sure our side is heard and, demand a fair, review of the whole situation. I think we're owed that for what we've gave to the country. I think that would be a fair, thing to do. So to stand for it and just let it be what it is, no. We're going to try to appeal it and try to just come to understanding of what the basis was for this sanction in the first place and hopefully move past it. That's what we've been pushing for, just to sit down and conversate about what the basis of this suspension was and how we can move forward, because I don't think anybody wins in this situation. And I think this is a situation that could have been, easily avoided just based on simple conversation and understanding of one another. I think, as somebody from the outside looking in, it's valid to have your opinion on something, but everybody doesn't really know the details. As far as saying I don't respect Rwanda, I think that's a little bit rough to hear and stuff, but I think my patriotism should not be questioned, especially over something I didn't do, because I never refused the national team. And I think it kind of discredits what what I've already brought to the country and what I'm wanting to continue to bring to the country. So I would say, like, from the outside looking in, it's valid to have your concerns, right? But you also got to know that these are reasons. There are reasons, right, to when you don't see players representing the country, players like me and Nori. There are valid reasons, right? We take it very seriously to put that jersey on, right, and go represent the nation, and represent millions of Rwandans. So I will say that it hurts, but sooner or later, people will understand where we're coming from and know that our goal is to bring Rwanda up, and it's a privilege to put that jersey on and represent Rwanda. Compensation is, it's a part of what we do. If it's not I guess I want to say glamorous part of representing the national team, but it's part of what we do. We're basketball players, we're professionals. So money is always a question, but it's not the main factor. We had a discussion about compensation, and it was just that. It was a discussion. It wasn't a refusal. It wasn't a ultimatum or, a demand. It was just a discussion. And I think, I'm not sure why, but they failed to come back to us about that discussion before suspending us, which is why we're caught off guard the most, because we had discussions. We thought it was like a mutual respect to where we can have this conversation. If I ask for compensation, maybe you can tell me no, and then that would be that, but I don't think we were granted that respect to even be told no, or to be, have that discussion to move forward and to find a resolution. You know what I mean? I speak for myself when I and everybody else speaks for themselves when it comes to that. Yeah, the mindset was always to, you know, go with the national team to Angola, and when we arrived on practice that Saturday, that was what was in our minds, that we're gonna go to Angola, fight with the national team, no matter what. It hurts not being there and being able to support my brothers, regardless of what's going on. Those are my brothers out there fighting for the country, and I wish them all the best. And it hurts not being able to be a part of that group and to help, because we know we can, over a misunderstanding like this, such as this one, that could be avoided. Like I said, I think just the simple conversations will help us understand, you know, where they're coming from, help them understand where we're coming from, and I think that will go a long way in this situation, because that was never had, and it should have been had. So, I mean, yeah, I could wish, or we could just, you know, sit down and talk about it, and I think that will be the best way to move forward.